Seagrasses are very important habitats for a lot of fish species. So things like juvenile snapper, King George whiting, garfish, squid, blue crabs. And then there's also iconic species like weedy sea dragons, leafy sea dragons. They're also important stores of blue carbon. On a per hectare basis, a seagrass meadow will store a lot more carbon than what, say, a tropical forest does, and it stores it for a lot longer.
People now are starting to understand the importance of seagrass in our ecological systems. Recreational fishers in particular have noticed changes in our fisheries here in the state because they've experienced the changes in the regulations for boat and bag limits. The major impact on our seagrass decline has actually been wastewater. That used to be pumped out into the Gulf since 1949 to 1996. The problem with that high nutrient water is it's basically interfering with the relationship between the seagrass blades and the algae that cover them. The high nutrients was forming too thick a layer over the seagrass blade.
Some of those algae actually live in the water column, some of them live on the seagrasses themselves. They block light, and the other thing that blocks light is the sediments that come off the land from all the development. And seagrasses, like any plant, they need light to photosynthesize and survive. So if you're blocking that light, they're basically not getting their food and they end up starving. Seagrasses are typical flowering plants. Posidonia, the tapeweed, grows a fruit. That fruit actually has a seed which germinates before the seed is released. But then the fruit is released, it floats to the surface. It's buoyant for a day or so generally, and then it splits open and releases a seedling. The way they've evolved is to produce lots and lots of babies, and only a few of them will live. Once you lose the seagrass, you've got bare sand. If you get a big storm coming through, that sand gets stirred up. And so any little seagrass seedling that's established in there just gets ripped away. It doesn't have a chance of surviving.
We know that it's not going to recruit by itself. We have to give nature a helping hand. We know we've lost 6,000 hectares of seagrass in South Australia's metropolitan coastline. This is a project whereby recreational fishers can get involved just to reintroduce the seagrass meadows. Ozfish Unlimited is a community-based volunteer organisation. We do ecosystem restoration and citizen science out there where it's needed to fix problems for everyone.
This trial here with the Seeds for Snapper program is really trying to target that seagrass which has disappeared from some very large areas off our coast. With a lot of improvements in the way that wastewater is treated, water quality is right at that point where we can look at large-scale seagrass restoration. Now Ozfish has come up with this method for seagrass restoration. It's a really great partnership. It just really helps increase our ability to restore the seagrass areas. A summer's day beachcombing can actually be a really important part of conserving our marine environment. It's so easy. People just have to be looking for these Posidonia fruits and just bring them back to the collection points. This is a really great, simple, effective way to restore our seagrass environments.
This project definitely couldn't be done without volunteers. They are so valuable to it.
We've just been picking up seagrass seeds for the Seeds for Snapper project, and there's a lot on the beach this morning. Just in about less than half an hour we've picked up this much. We just feel part of the whole environmental movement in the area.
We're getting out there on the spot, putting sandbags down with seeds from those seagrass fruit that have been collected by volunteers, and we're regrowing those seagrass meadows.
The hessian bags provide a stable substrate that the seedlings can get themselves established before the bag rots away, but by then they're big enough to be able to survive that sand movement.
Recreational fishers are the eyes on the water here in South Australia and across Australia. We love them to be out here helping us with these projects because they see what's happening at the water's edge, they see what's happening out on the boats, and they see what's happening whilst they're fishing. More seagrass means more fish. The more fruits we get means the more seagrass we can plant out in the ocean. When you throw that sandbag over that's got seeds in it, you feel fantastic because you know that that is getting out there to where we want to grow the seagrass, right to the spot, and you'll come back later and see a beautiful seagrass meadow. We are changing our environment for the better.